There was a man, Gabriel Cook. He had a friend, Daniel Chase. They met on Skype to do a podcast with an editor called Roger. They got together to talk about the news. That's about it. Greetings, listeners. Nice to have you round again. It's a cold, wet, windy day where we are in the studio, but I hope it's nice where you are. My name's Gabriel. I'm joined with
Roger.
That voice you could hear was Roger's voice, coming live from Norway.
Hello.
We finally got him in for a podcast again. The time zones have matched for once. I'm Dan, by the way.
The stars and the moon have aligned. And we've also got a fourth person here. The first Cook Chase podcast.
Hello.
Don't speak yet. You'll confuse the listeners. This is a Cook Chase podcast. First, we have got Thunderpeel, aka Johnny.
Hello.
From
Hello.
London.
I did time it right that time.
Coming live from the burning rubble of London.
Yes.
To help us understand what we were talking about last week, which was this thing called residual. It's actually pronounced residual.
You got to say it faster than that.
That's how you.
Faster.
That's how you actually pronounce it. So it's a kind of a Grim Fandango thing, but we'll get onto that later. Let's start off, as we always do, with the Cook Chase. Okay, there have been 2 Jurassic Park screenshots released.
Yeah, and the release date for Jurassic Park as well, actually. And it's crazy. It's apparently all the episodes are coming out at the same time.
Yep, that's mad. LucasArts are making an open world RPG, a bit like Oblivion, maybe, possibly.
And lots of other types of games, according to Jason. There's an aerial combat title, a first-person shooter. They're basically making every type of game apart from adventure games.
There's a Back to the Future collector disc now available. Woohoo!
Yeah, it's about time.
And that's not it. That's not it. Hector Badge of Carnage Episode 2 has been given a release date.
There's an Indiana Jones map with artifacts on it that is completely unlicensed, but apparently LucasArts didn't dispatch their legal team to kill this guy. But they've all sold out, so never mind.
There's also something is happening with the disc. There's a CD. The compact disc been invented. And very sad news: Star Wars Connect has been pushed back to 2012. I have no idea what that is. I don't know what that is. And last of all, we've got a new hosted site, salmonmax.co.uk.
Yes.
So that's the news.
So that website we've got there, there's the listeners have probably been to this site before if they like Salmon Max. It's been going for quite a while, so it's not a new site,
no.
But it's now part of the LFN.
It's part of the Mojo Empire.
Yeah, the Empire. It's so welcome, and don't forget the tax.
There's smuggled in all those news posts. There's a little statistic from Telltale Games, which is that Back to the Future, the game, not the film, has apparently been downloaded over 1 million times on PC alone. Now, just to put that in perspective, that's roughly the population of Birmingham, or 10 times the population of Basingstoke.
It's quite a lot of people, but
Does that include the demo then?
Possibly, yes.
well, that's a good question. I mean, does that mean like per 5 episode chunk, or is that counting each episode as a separate download?
Who knows? I think they've been fiddling with their stats there, possibly. Do you think that maybe the entire population of Birmingham really has downloaded the game?
Yes.
Let's do a poll. Have you downloaded the game, and are you from Birmingham? Yes or no? That's most of the news discussed. We've also had Hector, the episode 2 of Hector, which is published by Telltale Games. So it's kind of like 3 times removed from LucasArts in a way. But Roger, you've been playing that?
Yeah, I've been playing it a bit.
What do you think of it?
It's a better game than the first episode, I would say. The interface feels a little better. It was a bit clumsy in the first one, and they finally got real women to voice the female characters. You know, it's not that there's a guy squeezing his own balls and talking into mic.
Oh, really? They had men playing the woman before?
Yeah, the first one doesn't. The first one had only one voice actor doing all the voices, including the women.
Uh-huh. So you think it's a really low budget affair, is it?
It felt like that on the voice side, but the animation, on the other hand, was much higher quality. Really, it was a real mismatched the quality between the voices and the graphics.
Would you recommend the game for LucasArts fans?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, that's the definitive Mix and Mojo response.
That's as close as Mojo gets to enthusiasm, though. So
do you think
that's pretty
we might even
sterling kind of recommendation?
That quotation might go on the retail box. Do you think?
That would be something, yeah.
Yeah. Roger from Mix and Mojo. Shall we introduce? Oh, I've already introduced, I guess. But should we start the interrogation as we said we would? I think we should.
Who's gonna be the good cop?
Well, you can be the good cop. I'll be the bad cop. Okay, you start.
Okay, so welcome Thunderpeel, aka Johnny.
Fuck you!
Oh my god, I'll talk.
That was easy.
Great. This is good because we've got to tell you this from the start. We do not work for the LucasArts legal department, but we are very interested in this residual project to do with making Grim Fandango look a little bit better than it currently does.
Yes.
We're kind of interested to know, how far along is this project, and if you could tell us a little bit about it.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, well, residual is obviously something it's sort of separate to this, but the Grim Fandango Deluxe project is going to use residual. It uses residual to get beneath the hood of the game, and so we can make these sorts of improvements. But it's very early days at the moment, which is why I've not really posted a lot about it, I suppose. I mean, I think last week you guys were speculating if it was because fear of LucasArts reprisal, but I think I feel that they should be okay. I'm more concerned with just it's because it's kind of early days. There's just not much to say at the moment. But there's been I don't know if you've seen the screenshots that I think I have posted a screenshot or two.
Yeah, we can link to those certainly in the news posts because it does look a little better. You guys you've increased the resolution of the textures and you're trying to increase the palette, like the number of colors.
Yeah, well, exactly. There's basically I've been working with the guys who sort of run Residual, which is the sort of scum VM for Grim Fandango. And they've been really, really helpful. It's been fantastic. It's really good. And we've sort of figured out that there's 3 things that we can do to sort of improve the look of the 3D models in Grim Fandango. Because I think they're the things that really sort of let the game down a bit. If that's a bit harsh, obviously it's still a fantastic game. But, the voice acting and the backgrounds, the music is all fantastic. And the models do look a little bit, blocky. So one of them is increasing the texture resolution. And that's what we started to do, and I've managed to do that and made a sort of high-res version of Manny walking around, and it's pretty cool. It's good to see. There is some technical problems with that though, because the game only uses 256 colors for its textures, and it would be good if we could sort of up that quality, as you're saying, increase the color depth on the textures to 16-bit. But that's a technical problem that the guys at Residual sort of have to figure out in order to make that happen. And the other 2 things that we could do is actually obviously increase the number of polygons in the models.
Right.
It's which would be fantastic. And we've sort of made a bit of headway in that and sort of deciphering the LucasArts object file format. And a guy called Somayan, I think this is an online name, so I don't know his real name, but he works on the Residual project, made a little application which allows us to convert those objects into something that we can actually open with modern 3D modeling programs like Maya or something.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's really fantastic. We just need to sort of, as I say, it's early days. We're just sort of experimenting with that at the moment to see what we can do. But then we need to figure out how we can get those back into sort of the LucasArts format and put them into the game and see how that works.
I see, yeah, because this is... We've had a few projects over the years where it feels like this is something that LucasArts should be doing themselves, really. and then the fans end up sort of having to try and do it for themselves, because there was the Monkey Island 1 speech project, which was before the special edition was announced, which was the voiceover stuff. And when LucasArts actually said, "Hey, we're doing a special edition," most people were kind of happy, but that guy got really angry for some reason.
He was angry beforehand, though, to be fair.
Is that true?
And he got an awful virus that then infected the whole of the LucasArts fan network.
Is that true?
And Roger had to hunt him down and shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
It was the only thing that could actually stop the virus.
It's all gone now.
Yeah.
Well done, man.
Both he and the site is, let's say they've disappeared.
So that sounds fascinating, Johnny. So just to recap, the three things are increase polygons, increase color palette, both of which are being worked on, or theoretically are possible. And the third thing is actually just increasing the resolution of the textures, which is the easiest thing to do at the moment.
That's the one we've cracked so far, yeah. And well, actually, that's not the third thing. The increasing the resolution of the textures it sort of ties in with the sort of giving them a better color depth as well. The third thing is actually increasing the resolution of the game itself in such a way that it sort of doubles or triples the existing resolution, so that the 3D models would have more definition, I suppose. If you know what I mean.
So in doing that, would the backgrounds in Grim Fandango are kind of pre-rendered sort of 2D images, aren't they? So
yes, that's exactly.
So if you blow those up, does that sort of create new problems again, or?
Well, this is why we were thinking about doing it in multiples of the original resolution, because these days when you're playing it on a flat screen monitor anyway, it's already blowing it up.
That's true. That's true.
So if we do it in multiples of the existing resolution, then it shouldn't really distort the graphics in any way, but it should add extra detail to the 3D models.
Oh, brilliant.
I mean, you could even imagine blowing up the pre-rendered backgrounds in a way that actually you could add more detail. I mean, I've seen Photoshop people do this. They add sort of like a film grain or something like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, actually.
And the other thing about modern monitors is that the majority of them are widescreen, whilst Grim Fandango is presumably it's square. So is that something that's been looked at?
No, not so much, because I think that would be maybe further down the road. Because I think if you're going to do that, you're probably looking at either cropping the top and bottom of the screen or adding new details to the sides, and that could be controversial. I don't know.
Both are difficult to do, actually, isn't it? But then stretching it is controversial as well. So we're in controversial waters.
Well, what do you think the chances are of people using these tools that people have developed to get the models of the characters out of the games and then use them to create very sinister sort of fan fiction movies that they then upload to YouTube?
Pornographic things, perhaps.
Yeah,
I'm just
they could take Manny and make...
Well, that's really what the aim of this project's all about, I think. That's what the long-term goal is.
We've got the scoop.
Yeah, exactly.
We're recording this conversation, by the way.
Grim Fandango porn.
We're going to send this to the LucasArts lawyers.
Oh, no!
So, yeah, that sounds great. I've been really impressed by the screenshots already. And actually, I hadn't really realised that some of the models really are a bit dated. As you say, kind of everything else about the game has dated really well. Much better than Escape from Monkey Island, for instance. I mean, it's some models in more than others. I think Manny's probably one of the better ones. But there's some of the background characters that you don't see very much, which are actually a bit kind of sketchy.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of... It's almost like trying to get the game up to the level that you remember it being, rather than what it actually is.
Yeah, I know. I kind of know what you mean by that, which is, you sort of load it up today and think, wow, this looks old. But the first time you play that game, it's so mind-blowingly good-looking.
Well, it's also the cinematics do have a much higher polygon rate, right?
That's true.
Is that correct?
Yeah, most of them do. Oddly enough, sometimes they do switch. I don't know why. I don't know why they do this, but sometimes they do switch to the in-game models in the cinematics. So you do see a very blocky Manny sometimes. It's quite strange, but sometimes they switch back and it's the higher resolution.
Yeah, Escape from Monkey Island, I remember some of the cinematics there. There's a bit where Ozzy Mandrill sort of points at someone, and his collar, what's it called? His jumper? No, his hand. There's a button on his clothes that's on his hand. What's that called? When you've got a clothing on your hand, not a glove. Anyway, whatever. It was a button, and it's comprised of about 5 pixels, and it just looked dreadful. I mean, that's Escape from Monkey Island, but I don't think.
Are you talking about a cufflink?
A cufflink, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Now, I don't remember anything like that happening in Grim Fandango, but I just wondered. It's kind of interesting. I wondered if because some of the Emmy's cutscenes did look quite good. I'm rambling. I'm absolutely rambling. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, if people want to learn a bit more about this project, I've set up a blog, so hopefully you can go to and look at it, which is grimfandangodeluxe.blogspot.com. Yeah, so that's.
Are you looking for helpers?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, like I say, it's still early days, so we're still sort of fighting technical problems, as it were. But if people want to get involved and they feel they can help in any way, it'd be absolutely fantastic. And we've been lucky enough so far, actually, that the lead programmer of Grim Fandango has actually popped in and given us a few pointers and stuff. So.
That must be really useful. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's really cool. But other people who feel they can help should jump in too. Don't be put off by the fact that the programmers...
Randy Big Balls. That's his name, isn't it?
I think it's Brett Moglivsky.
Oh, I do know him, actually. He had a Sam & Max fan site at once upon a time. Okay, well, great. Well, we'll definitely link to that blog post. And thank you very much for coming on and discussing some of the details. I had another question popped into my head at 4,000 miles an hour, and I'm going to vomit it out at you. I saw a screenshot of Manny looking like a dog. Did you do that? Do you know what I mean? No, I definitely saw it. I did not dream this. Okay, his skull is formed like a dog, and it was on the forums, the residual forums, and someone was saying the caption was "Manny sniffs out another clue."
Oh, yes, that was someone I think as part of it as a test to see if they could change the in-game models. So they manually edited one of the 3D model files and saved it, and sure enough, it distorted his face. But obviously, it was just a test to see if we could actually change those models in any way. And not not the aim of the project, obviously, to turn all the creatures into dogs.
Maybe the aim of the porno project, the really important one.
Well, yeah, exactly. Once we've done the porn, maybe we can move into animals. I don't know.
Well, I hope you'll come back in the future to tell us kind of when exactly, maybe in a few months' time or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, and thanks for listening, listeners. If you have any thoughts on this, obviously you can email us, and we've got an email jingle coming up.
Email podcast@mixandmojo.com. Email podcast@mixandmojo.com.
Do you have any last thoughts, guys?
Yes.
Good. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.